Hi guys, let's get into a reading. Thank you for your likes, your comments, your subscribes, and to those of you who have booked a personal reading with me, please keep in mind that these are general messages, so do not take them personally. Take the messages that resonate and leave the rest behind. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can find that information in the description box below. Let's get into it. So I do have a channel message that we are going to pull on. And the message I received is that it can be a challenge when you are meeting the version of yourself that you hope others can't see, right? And so this is almost like a sense of like the mask is falling, right? This is if you are very aware, right, that this is the year of disclosure, right, where things are being revealed at a rapid rate, right? The mask is being removed from situations, from people, from experiences, right? Everything that has been like kind of existing in the shadows and kind of looming in the subconscious is being brought to the forefront to be acknowledged, right? To be confronted head on, right? And I think that most people perceive confrontation to be a negative thing. But to confront something, you don't have to be aggressive. You just have to be direct. And I think that when something is straight to the point with no buffer, people take that as aggressive or very sharp, and it makes them want to retreat in a sense, or if not retreat, it's kind of like that fight or flight kind of thing, right? But when you confront something, you don't necessarily have to approach it from a place of negativity or aggression, right? You can acknowledge something head on and not have to overdo it, right? But the message that I received definitely is there's a mask being removed, right? It's a part of yourself, maybe a part of your past, a part of your subconscious, maybe something that you experienced, something that you went through that you hoped wouldn't be made available. But it's almost as if like things are being brought to the forefront. So let's pull. What message do you have for the collective at this time regarding this channel message? Help me to articulate a clear and concise message in order for it to be received in the way that you want it to best be received. Help me to see what it is that I need to see to get the message across as clear as possible. And help me to deliver any messages that you deem worthy in order to serve your highest good, for the highest good of humanity with harm to none. What messages do you have for the collective at this time regarding this channel message? This doesn't feel negative. It just feels like you're being made aware of something, or something is being brought to the forefront. A truth is being revealed, right? It doesn't necessarily feel like a harsh truth. It just feels like a truth that you may have been trying to hide or trying to avoid, or just hoping that others couldn't see. Maybe hiding it from yourself. Receptive, independent, demanding. Actually, I think I'm going to get another oracle deck. 1 second. Okay. What message do you have for the collective surrounding this message? Ooh. Okay, there's definitely a transformation happening. Discipline, change, death with balance. Yeah. So whatever this is, this truth that has been kind of looming in your subconscious, the one that the truth that you have been trying to avoid, the truth that you have been trying to hide, right? The mask is being removed, right? There is it almost feels as if like you may have been operating in a space of half truth, right? Where you weren't necessarily lying, but you also weren't speaking the full truth, right? And you can't exist in purity if you're not walking in transparency. Does that make sense? So this mask that's being removed, right? It's going to one challenge you because it's something that you've been running from, it's something that you've been hiding not only from yourself, but from others as well. Again, hoping that they couldn't see. But the fact that you were trying so hard to suppress it, it's almost as if like it's like seeping out. I got the sense of like seeping out of your pores, right? Because you tried to suppress it, tried to cover it for so long that now it's just kind of like it's kind of like slipping out. And again, there because I have to be honest, this does feel connected to the last reading. So if you have not seen that one, definitely go check it out. It's the one posted right before this one. Let me see if I can give you a title. The title of that one is "You Can Have Everything You Desire and Still Feel the Cost of Growth." So again, this feels like part of that growth is being transparent, not only with yourself, but with what it is that you are trying to receive a blessing from, right? Because in the previous reading, right, there's something that you are yearning for, right? And I explained what it means to truly yearn for something. To yearn for something has been quite romanticized, but the feeling of yearning is almost close to a feeling of mourning, right? It's close to a feeling of grief. It's not a very desirable emotion, although we make it seem that way. It's not. It's to yearn for something means it almost feels like grief, but at a spiritual from a spiritual place of like connection, love, and desire, right? And so in order for you to again kind of align yourself with what it is that you're yearning for, you have to be transparent, right? You have to acknowledge what it is that you have been trying to push down in your subconscious so that it's able to come to the forefront and you're able to transform it, right? Because if you're still suppressing it, you're not working through it, right? You're not clearing it out, right? You're not making it pure, which is why this energy is here. Because it's coming up for you, you're being almost forced or faced with the challenge of transforming what is being brought to your attention at this moment. These cards, that's why I don't use these ones that much, because they slide everywhere. Clarified discipline. Tower. Yeah. 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 This is the foundation. The foundation is being restructured so that you can operate from that place of purity. Look, the King of Pentacles, and then look what's trying to come out from underneath. The Queen of Pentacles, right? You see how that's peeking through? There's a balance, an equal and balanced reciprocity, right? This is the Six of Pentacles came out in the previous reading, right? There has to be a sense of equal give and take in order for you to truly experience what it is that you're looking to receive from it. And in order for you to achieve that, you have to clear out the tower, what it is that is kind of holding you back, what it is that you're suppressing, right? There's a foundation being rebuilt so that you can experience this purity, right? Again, the Ten of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups came out in that last reading. So definitely go check it out if you have not. There may be a message in there for you. But in order, again, like, it's almost as if, like, again, your blessings are not meant to only serve you. They're meant to serve others around you, meaning the community that you create, the friendships that you make, the family that you create, right? The connections, the business partnerships. Your blessings are meant to serve others around you. That's the legacy that's how your legacy is kind of formed, right? Your legacy is not formed by what you can do for yourself. Your legacy is measured by how you impact others, right? And so in order for you to experience this Ten of Cups, you have to clear out all of that negative trauma, those negative mindsets, those negative habits, right? And rebalance so that you have to clear out that energy so that you're able to balance and rebuild the foundation on healthy soil ground, right? Yeah. But you also have to consistently work at operating within this transparency, right? So that means not running from your fears. That means not running from your negative thoughts, not hiding from the things that you feel are going to challenge you and push you towards growth and expansion. You can't run from those things. You have to confront them, face them head on, not necessarily with aggression, but with confidence, right? With awareness, right? With truth, with perspective, with a willingness to learn and receive so that you are able to grow in the space that you are trying to align yourself in, right? Clarify, change. Clarify, change. Yeah. The Ace of Pentacles, there's a new beginning. And this may be a relationship in a sense, right? The High Priestess. This may be a relationship with yourself, a relationship with your family, a relationship with your past, a relationship with your purpose, a relationship again with it's this is a general message, so take it how it resonates, right? This could be your relationship with money, with currency, but there is a transformation happening within this area where you're going to be offered a new opportunity, right? Where you're going to see things at a much deeper level. I want to clarify this High Priestess because I feel like there's something. The sun, look, the sun underneath the High Priestess, there's a clarity, a knowing, right? Something is whatever. Let me clarify the High Priestess. The King of Swords and the Fool. Okay. There's a risk that you're going to have to, okay, how can I put this into words? There may have been a certain way in which you approached something in the past. This could be how you, again, approached connections, how you approached certain positions, how you approach certain habits, or how you address certain habits you had, or addictions, whatever this is for you. You are having to, it's almost as if, like, I'm seeing like deposits being made, right? deposits are being made in this space so that you are able to grow and shift, right? Whatever this is that you have been holding on to subconsciously, right? But there's also a sense of like you needing to learn how to be comfortable with taking risks, right? That aren't necessarily something that you, or within something or within areas that you aren't necessarily comfortable in, right? Because it may not have been a cycle that you have experienced yet. So because you have been, I'm seeing like chains breaking, right? So there could be, this could be the way that you thought in the past, the way that you moved in the past, the way that you handled things in the past, the way that you approached or addressed things in the past. A cycle is being broken, right? But you are being made aware that the new cycle that's coming in is going to change you for the better. Now, there will be growing pains. It will reveal some things to you about how you carry yourself, how you connect with yourself and other people and other experiences and the environments around you, right? There's a lot of clarity, right? A lot of things being brought to the surface, right? Again, within the subconscious. So you may also have been like in a space of the hermit, right? Where you aren't necessarily like you're more to yourself. You're not necessarily indulging in other things that aren't connected to who you are, right? And so again, that may be something where you're required to something that you're required to change about yourself, a new cycle that you are being required to change about yourself, where you're being called out of this hermit energy, right? You're being called to the forefront so that you are able, again, because the 10 of cups is the legacy. So you can't be a hermit and still impact the community around you, right? You have to kind of connect. You have to indulge, right? You have to reach a wider audience, a wider perspective, or there's an expansion, right? That you're being required to address. But the King of Swords and the Fool, there's almost as if like again, like you're having to make a firm choice about a risk, right? And you may feel it's risky because it's a cycle that you're unfamiliar with, right? But it's the 10 of cups here is giving that sense of the 10 of cups and the soul and the sun, right? Are saying that this will be to your benefit, right? This will be a blessing to you, right? The sun is the happiest card in the deck, and the 10 of cups is right under it with the judgment. So this is this is something that you're being called to, right? This is a calling. This is part of your spiritual purpose, right? A part of your soul's journey. You can't necessarily stray from whatever this is that you're being called to address at this moment. It's time to come out of hiding. It's time for you to face what it is that you're truly manifesting and to acknowledge all of the moving parts that come with it. And that may feel risky to you because it's no longer just about you. Now other people are involved as well. And there's always a risk when you feel not necessarily responsible for others, but as a leader, you are kind of responsible for others, not directly, but in the sense of you're providing guidance, you're providing that leadership, right? You are using your strengths and abilities to nurture the strengths and abilities of other people, right? And that is a risk, right? Whether you see it as a high risk or a low risk is personal to you, but there is some sort of risk that is attached to this clarity or this transparency that's coming forward. But it doesn't feel like a negative risk. It just feels like it feels risky to you personally because you may be used to being in that place of solitude where you only have your, for example, say you're single, right? You don't necessarily have children Next thing you know, you have a whole family. You took a risk because now you're not only responsible for yourself, but you're also responsible for your husband, your wife, and your kids, your pets, the home, the businesses that you create, right? The friends that you like. It comes with more responsibility, and that's the risk that I'm sensing here. It may not be that specific example, but to that effect, right? Clarified death. There. Yeah. Yeah. It's the responsibility. The King of Cups. It's the responsibility of what you have invested in personally, right? So now you're getting ready to see your seeds expand. Clarify this Nine of Wands. The King of Pentacles with the Five of Pentacles. So you may feel at times as if you don't have enough, right? Maybe you don't have enough to give mentally. Maybe you feel like you don't always have enough to give emotionally in order to provide in a way that you feel that you're being called to. But that is false, right? That's only a limited self-perception, right? And that's why, again, that mask is being ripped off, right? You do have the ability, right? You have the Sun, the High Priestess, the Ten of Cups. We saw the Judgment card, the Fool here, like the Ace of Cups. There's a strong spiritual responsibility that you have, right? Again, taking care of children is a spiritual responsibility, right? You're guiding the lives of another being. That's a huge responsibility, whether you see it as such or not, right? That is a risk, right? Because they can either be world leaders or destroyers of the world, right? Depending on your leadership and your guidance sometimes. Not always, but sometimes, most times, right? So there's a transforming happening, right? You're going to, and I don't want to say it's going to feel like a burden, but there will be a responsibility to know that you do have enough, right? Look, the Six of Cups and the World underneath it again with the Temperance card. I'm going to keep these and look, the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups, and then we saw the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. I don't know if that was this reading or the reading before, but the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles both came out together. But again, like this is alchemy, right? You do have enough. You're being given, you're being blessed with more than enough. So get out of that place of victimhood, right? Be transparent with yourself about the things that you need to change, the habits that you need to change, the addictions that you need to let go of, the negative mindset, right? The trauma that's keeping you bonded to your subconscious, right? And the suppression of your true existence, right? Let that go. Open yourself up to the sense of transparency, right? Open your heart to receive, right? There's a measuring of your heart happening right here. That's what I'm sensing, like the balancing of your heart, the weight of your heart to a feather, right? How hardened is your heart in this moment? And what work, what acknowledgement needs to take place in order for you to create that balance within that space, right? Let's pull 4 cards to close this message out. This is a blessed reading, but it will be a challenge for you. Not a challenge as in like a burden, but to whom much is given, much is expected. So there will be more to give, more to care for, right? When you receive more, you have a responsibility to give more, right? That 10 of Cups, the Sun, the High Priestess, the King of Pentacles, right? The King of Pentacles is the provider, right? The one who gives freely, effortlessly, not only to himself, but to his family, to his community, right? He creates opportunities. One message for what we can learn as the major lesson of this card. One card for what we can create surrounding this message. One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message. And one card for the new cycles and habits we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. What we can learn is worthiness. Know that you are deserving. Soul forgiveness. Forgive yourself for all those things that you were holding on to that was keeping you in those negative pathways, that was keeping you, look, cosmic power. I'll take that one as well, right? You have to know your worth, right? The high priestess, you have a deep sense of knowledge, a deep sense of wisdom. What you have, the ability to give life to new ideas, right? And the pomegranate, again, I'm being drawn to the pomegranate here, which is again like a symbol of new life, new blessings, right? Abundance, wealth, right? And so you have to know that that is within you, right? As I'm saying that, I lied to you not. It started pouring down, raining, right? There's a flooding of blessings and abundance and wealth that is coming in for you. It literally started pouring down, raining out of nowhere. There's an influx of wealth, abundance, success from what it is that you're being offered, from what it is that you're suppressing, from what it is that you're hiding. There's a gift in that, right? There's a blessing in that, right? And see, the temperance and the alchemy, you have to transform this mindset. This is the worthiness card, right? The Five of Pentacles, you have to know that you have enough, and to not feel as if it's like a lack mindset. Holding on to that lack mindset is what's keeping you in this place of suppression. But you're being called out of that. You're being called out of this place of suppression. One card for what we can create surrounding this message: self-sabotage with miracles, right? Again, that Five of Pentacles. Don't allow yourself to trick yourself out of your spot. It's almost like a muscle, right? Use it or lose it. If you are being given this source of abundance from God, from source, from the universe, from a higher power, right? However you subscribe, right? If God is blessing you with something, you have a responsibility to use it in a way that you are being guided to, right? Again, because this Ten of Cups is not just about you, it's about your legacy. So if you're manifesting something for the sole purpose of benefiting others, and then you receive that blessing and you choose to harbor it, you're operating out of lack. And that will only, again, self-sabotage. That will only bring down what it is that you're truly trying to create, right? In order to continue to receive more, you have to give back the effort in which you're receiving, right? One card for what we can meditate on as the focus of this message: seasons, joy. Know that things change, one, and that this is a new beginning. You're stepping into a new phase. We saw the World card, right? Right here. You're stepping into a new phase, a new cycle. And look at her. She just gave birth to new life. She's nurturing, right? Remember when I said, it's giving like a mother, right? So you may be a mother or a father, or you may not have children, right? But you are being blessed with the responsibility to give new life, right? To nurture something that is outside of yourself, right? And so meditate and focus on what it is that, and look, storms at the bottom of the deck as it starts storming right now. You have to meditate on what new phase, what you want this new phase to look like, right? Refine the details of how you want this manifestation to serve you so that you can serve others, right? One card for the new cycles and habits we can innovate to contribute to our growth and expansion surrounding this message. We saw divine lineage, right? That's the Ten of Cups, your legacy. Miracles, and look what's right back at the bottom of the deck. You cannot make this up. You're blessed. You're blessed. And you're being blessed with what it is that you need to move forward in this new phase, right? You're being blessed with this sense of community, right? This sense of there's more than like a physical connection, right? There's a spiritual connection that you're being asked to, how can I put this into words? There's an overflow of miracles happening, right? The 42666, right? With the 6 of Cups here, there's an overflow, but you have to be willing to give just as much as you receive, right? But that is the message that I have for you guys. I hope that it resonates. I know that if you made it to the end of this video, you have found something in it that is worthy and valuable to you. Thank you for watching. Bye.